Be fooled by the calendar. There are only as many days in the year as you make use of. One man gets only a week's value out of a year, while another man gets a full year's value out of a week. Charles Richards. DZ Tribe, Josh Thomas. I want to talk to you today about Newton's laws of productivity. Not familiar? Well, that's because they don't actually exist. But they kind of do, actually. There's this idea that's been floating around in my head of really understanding what productivity means. And productivity doesn't necessarily mean doing more. It just means doing differently. It just means transferring your energy from one activity to another. And this is what it has to do with Newton. Newton wrote the first law of thermodynamics, and there's a whole bunch of jargon in there. But if I could summarize, it comes down to, according to Wikipedia, energy can be transformed from one form to another, but can be neither created nor destroyed. Energy cannot be created and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. And I think that has a heck of a lot to do with productivity as well. We're entrepreneurs. We're out there spending time and energy on stuff, whatever it is we're working on. You know, if you're showing up to work and you're doing sales calls, or you're yelling at your employees, or you're having an affair with the secretary, whatever it is that you're spending your energy on, that's where it goes. Now, that energy is not being consumed. It is only changing hands. It is only being transferred or transformed in one way or another. If I get on the phone and I make X amount of offers, some percentage of those offers are going to be transformed. That conversation, those words that come out of my mouth, are going to be transformed into money that comes into the business. If I sit around and don't do anything and I don't manage my employees well, and I keep that energy to myself that I should be transferring to my team, then my team is going to take the energy that they need to be focused on work, and they're going to transfer it into doing whatever the hell they want. And that's probably not very good either. And so Newton really had it figured out. Maybe he was the primordial entrepreneur in a way, where he's talking about science in a way that would apply to business. Thermodynamics. I actually, to be honest, I have to make a damning admission. I don't even really know what thermodynamics means exactly. Science was not my strong suit in school. Also math. I'm pretty terrible at math. I was a pretty decent musician, but not actually that good at that either. There's not a lot of things I really am good at. But understanding how the world works, I feel like I've got that down. And Newton's law of productivity, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transferred. If you think about how are you spending your energy in your business, are you taking that energy and are you transferring it in the most efficient way? Or are you transferring it in the most effective way? And there is a difference between the two. Sometimes we get lost on that. And I'll share with you one thing I do know is what efficiency is, something that is producing an outcome with the minimal amount of effort. And effectiveness is about producing the maximum amount of outcome with not necessarily related to effort. Yes, I think that was right. So this is the joys of not actually editing my solos. I'm not sure if that came out the way that I wanted it to, but there's probably only like 5 people listening anyway, so I'm just going to keep talking. But the idea here is efficiency has to do with minimalizing effort, and effectiveness has to do with maximizing outcome. Okay? Yeah, that sounds like what I wanted to say. And so what are we doing to transfer the energy when we're looking to minimize the effort, maintain the outcome? Maintain the outcome, minimize the effort. We're looking to transfer as little energy as possible. Effectiveness, on the other hand, is related to the outcome, and we're trying to maximize the outcome. And so we're not too worried about minimizing energy output. We're just worried about maximizing outcome. And so if that's the case, then we want to transfer as much energy as we need to transfer in order to be maximally effective. Okay, so one example of that might be burning the midnight oil, working a 16-hour day. We're trying to maximize our effectiveness. Efficiency be damned. And that requires a tremendous transfer of energy. On the other hand, if we're trying to maximize our output with minimal effort, we're trying to be efficient. We're trying to find ways to conserve that energy so that we can put it somewhere else. And that is not necessarily right or wrong either. Okay, there's no right or wrong path here. Everything is a matter of a balance between opposing forces. So if we can keep the energy inside, if we are entrepreneurs and we have a finite amount of energy that we can expend on our business and our life, and we keep as much of it to ourselves as possible, and we become hyper efficient, then that allows us to transfer that remaining energy to other things, preferably more valuable things, whatever they may be. If we instead expend all of that energy on maximizing the outcome, and we're not worried about being efficient, then that energy becomes a lightning bolt towards getting that result. Now, that's not necessarily the most effective path, and hyper-efficiency is not necessarily the most effective path. As I mentioned, we have to balance whatever it may be. And Newton's law of thermodynamics, actually there are 3 of them, and then there's this other weird thing called the zeroth law.